Welcome to the Grimace Mets Power Friendship Rebuild. I have no idea what we're calling it as I'm recording, but that's kind of the vibe we're going for. Just like the power of friendship fully behind the New York Mets right now, as well as Grimace and McDonald's. So, let's kind of express some rules, some interest, because okay, what does that mean? What does power friendship mean? What's our goals? What are we trying to do here? Well, okay, so I've attempted, I think with the Mets, attempting a different type of rebuild always seems to make sense because they're the Mets and there's a lot of different opportunities, different things you could do with them. They have a large budget. They have a lot of, I guess intrigue and fans, and they have some prospects that are fun as well. And so I wanted to try something that I don't think I've seen before, and that is that we want to focus heavily on the idea of trying to keep a team together for long term, no longer worrying about this roster turnover and being competitive this whole time, making the playoffs, or at least attempting to make the playoffs just about every season. So we're not going to tank for high picks. We're not going to do big trades. The main thing is keeping a team together for a long term. So in order to kind of develop friendship and everything, you need to have experiences and moments with these friends. So you need to be able to spend time with them, meaning we need to have players that spend large periods of time with each other. So let's say, for example, we wanted to build a team around Francisco Lindor. We're going to use him as an example for this because I want to express what we're trying to do here. Francisco Lindor has played 4 seasons with the Mets, and so I would say that to consider him, or at least now for 3 previous seasons with the Mets, to consider a friend with him, you would need a player who's also played these 3 seasons with him on the Mets. So we could take a guy like Pete Alonso, who would also fit that category, being on those 3 seasons with the Mets for him. But also, we have guys like Jeff McNeil here too. But Francisco Lindor has not spent his whole career on the Mets. In fact, a connection could be that we could also go get a guy like, and I think you see where I'm going here, Jose Ramirez, who he also spent more than 3 years with in Cleveland. So the way that we are going to build this friendship is through degrees of removal. Okay, we could get Jose Ramirez because he would be considered a friend with Francisco Lindor. We could continue to just build around this, but okay, so does JD Martinez fit this team? Well, JD Martinez would need to have played with a player from Boston or Detroit. We don't necessarily, I don't believe, have that now that I'm thinking about it. So technically, JD Martinez does not abide to the rules here because I don't believe any player on this team spent long periods of time with, nope, unless David, no, not David Peterson. I'm thinking of the reliever, but not him. So, so we would probably need to move off of a JD Martinez, even though I know he's a big core member to this, or find somebody who fits as this degree of separation. There's one other way that we are going to do this in order to try to get young players and rookies. A guy like Francisco Alvarez, for example, now has 3 years with the Mets, but wouldn't necessarily be able to fulfill this if he had not played here. So a rookie that we bring in who has never played, not Ronnie Mauricio, but Acuna has never played, so he technically doesn't fulfill this. So our other way of adding players is going to be through supplying them through their location of birth, trying to have groups of players from different sections to say that they can build a relationship maybe on their home national team. So Acuna is from Venezuela, so he could still be here because Alvarez is from Venezuela. I also would prefer to try to build a nice relationship between pitcher and catcher because I think that's important. So our catcher from Venezuela would also mean that we should try to pursue getting pitchers not from there, but from Venezuela, like Jose Butto. If our ace is from Japan, then we should go get a catcher from Japan. So I brought in Tomoya Mori. This kind of allows us to take a unique approach, I think, in recruiting, drafting, and making trades and free agent signings that I normally wouldn't do. It's creating a strange level of focus, right? We're going to be really in on the point of where these guys are from, of scouting and drafting guys from specific locations, of saying, okay, let's say we want to build this core around the young guys that are on their way. Brett Beatty is from Texas. Jet Williams is from Texas, but I think that we would need to have a third guy from Texas, or build more guys around Texas. So maybe we need to go find guys from Texas. Drew Gilbert's from Minnesota, so how is he supposed to build a relationship with anybody? Do we need to find other players from Minnesota to add to this team in order to make sure that he can be a part of it, or do we have to trade him away? Look, as Mets fans, you might be like, okay, like this seems like a lot. Like this seems like a ridiculous, like what are we doing here? I think the main thing is I just want to try to do something different and do something fun here with the Mets. And I think this could be cool. This could also end up being an absolute failure. So we will see. We will see how this goes. I think at the beginning of this season, we are going to make some signings. We are going to choose some trades and try to move some of these guys out so that I can, prepare our young prospects that are coming in by giving them friends to be able to work with. Depending on how competitive we are, if we are going for, a playoff spot right now in the NL East, then maybe we won't prioritize that. The other thing I want to show is that our roster that we are using is also that Mighty Goat V3 roster, including all these prospects. That's why Tomoya Mori is here on our team. I generally like to sign one guy from it, but we might sign more. But I'm going to wait till free agency. That way I at least have to compete with teams for like Roki Sasaki, though he would fit being a Japanese pitcher. So we might prioritize Japanese pitching in this rebuild to build around that relationship. And if we're keeping Alvarez, then we need Venezuelan pitching too. So that is what our rebuild is. I don't know if that's too convoluted, but I'm hoping that this team could be interesting, fun, and we can win a lot of games just through powerful, friendly relationships. All right. I'll see you at either the deadline or the draft, depending on how competitive we are this season. So the first trade we are going to make in order to attempt to try to, fill out this roster first with friends. We are going to get JD Martinez a friend in Nick Castellanos from the Phillies. Now, this still does not technically abide by it because Castellanos has no connections with any players yet here. So we still need to find a couple more degrees of separation, but I want to keep JD. And so we are going to trade a few pieces that also don't fit to try to get one piece that could. And then to round out that move, we are going to get Tyler Mahle and Nathan Eovaldi for Manaya, Quintana, and Hauser. This should clean up some stuff, and I'll show you what that connection is in a second. JD Martinez played on Boston as well as Detroit, which connects to Nick Castellanos, who played on Cincinnati and Detroit, which happens to connect to Tyler Mahle, a Cincinnati pitcher, which would be nice to have in the rotation. And then Eovaldi, who was in Boston during the same time as JD, and also in New York at the same time as Severino, meaning that we now get to keep each of these pitchers. And if you're like, wait, but none of them played on the Mets? Boom, Adam Ottavino. Boston, New York, Mets. And to clear up the last spot on this roster, we are going to get another JD Martinez teammate in John Schreiber. Meaning we now have a full roster of players who are either teammates with each other or are Mets for at least several seasons. The only other ones who would not fit these requirements are going to be young players who we have attempted to attach by using their birthplace, say Venezuela, or we're talking about, Japanese, whatever. Basically now the team fulfills this obligation, and I think it's a good team. And we only really made changes on the borders. Like, we really didn't change what the big core pieces of the team were. The only thing we changed were a little bit of the pitching, as well as the lineup. So our rotation is a mess, granted. I need to fix it because I want to have all these players up. We will go like that as our rotation, with a bullpen that is a little bit messy, but this is 13 players. So this is our rotation, including Severino, Budo, Senga, Eovaldi, and Melee, whatever. With Fujinami being the connection for Japan. McGill has been here for 3 years. Schreiber now connected through JD Martinez. Drew Smith is here, been for the Mets for a while. Reed Foley, been for the Mets for a while. Brooks Raley has been for the Mets the last 2 seasons, and I think we'll just stick with that. And then we have our Adam Ottavino connection, and Edwin Diaz has been with the Mets for a while. So this allows us to keep our entire rotation for the most part. And lineup-wise, I do need to make some changes quick. We have Castellanos, who we brought in order to fix this. Luis Torrens doesn't fit necessarily, but he's from Venezuela, which is a good connection to Francisco Alvarez, who's also from Venezuela. We have enough Venezuelan players where I feel like that works. We have Vientos from Florida. We have a ton of Floridians on this team. It's like half the team is from Florida, actually. So I think that's another adequate connection. This will be our team. I will fix the lineup and everything, and I think I have to call some players up because I made more trades so we can call somebody else up. But this is our team going into first season. So Drew Gilbert is absolutely raking right now down in AAA, and because of that, I want to be able to bring him up sooner rather than later, but we don't have any Minnesota guys. So I went to Baseball Reference and went looking for guys who are from Minnesota in the leagues, and that is a very, very small sample size. However, there is one guy who is decent who I think could be very, very valuable, and that is Matt Wallner. Now, the thing about Matt Wallner is he's only played for Minnesota, meaning do we have any players who we could use as teammates? Well, that teammate is going to be Carlos Santana, who is also on Minnesota at the moment, who is a former teammate of Francisco Lindor, which should help us create that connection. Now, I'm going to have to give up some pretty good prospects here in Colin Houck and Kevin Parada, but I think that this is a good move if we are going to attempt to get Gilbert to come up sooner rather than later, as well as it gets us off of this Nimmo contract that I don't necessarily want to keep that much longer because he's not that good. So we are going to trade Nimmo and 2 really good prospects for Wallner and Santana, which should allow us to bring up Gilbert probably in September. Starting the 2024 draft, this is I'll say this draft is stacked. There is so much really, really good talent in this draft, and we discovered a lot of it using Discovery, finding a bunch of guys that are not ranked that are very, very good. And so the only thing that sucks about it is I don't have extra picks. So I have to deal with like, okay, I want to get all of them. I don't think that's going to happen, but I can hope. So I think what we're probably going to be aiming for is either Eric Damon here, the starting pitcher out of Texas, or Aldo Ortega, the starting pitcher out of Ohio. I like Damon better, so Damon will be the priority. Though I do think there are some position players that are interesting, like this Andres Oliva from Oklahoma, and then Willard Dutzman from Texas. So those are my kind of top 4, and I'm wondering, like, it's kind of like we have pick 19. Could I wait on one of these guys? I don't think I want to wait and play around with it with Damon, but there's also so many good pitchers in this class that maybe we just go and try to get one of these position players, like Oliva, preferably. I mean, okay, I also really like what Dutzman has. So one of these 2 guys wouldn't be bad either. So we're going to start this draft. We'll see what we can get. I might just go with the position player first. I know that I know how to draft position players, and I know that I'm pretty good at drafting position players late, but I also know that it's valuable to get a position player that is on the top end early because they're not often going to be there. Now, we also don't know what other guys are going to be available, what other guys are going to have been discovered. So let's see. Sim do our next pick. Andres Oliva is already gone, and Deutzman's still there. So the question is, do we go Eric Damon or Willard Dutzman? I'm going to call it Dutzman. I don't know how to pronounce that, so we're going to go Dutzman. I think knowing how many pitchers I have on my board, and good ones at that too, I think what we will probably do here is I think we're going to go Dutzman. I know that we have position players in our system already. We've got... Yeah, so do we? Because what if he's a miss? What if that potential is 77? You know what? I think we're just going to go it. We're going to go Deitzman. If you yourself would have taken Eric Damon there, I get it. But Eric Damon's still here. Let's go. Perfect pick. All right. We get both of them. Exactly what we needed. Aldo Ortega is still here too. I do want to check though. Make sure that none of the other guys are really good. Because this Escobedo guy is from Venezuela, which is a good match. I don't have any guys from Ohio. All right, so I draft both of these guys. Do we go Ortega, Turnwall, and Escobedo and just stack up? Yeah. We're going to take Escobedo here because he's the more sure thing. I don't mind if I lose out on Ortega, but we're not going to. We get Ortega in round 5. Turnwall is still here, so we will take him. And the question is Memphis Cabrera or Scott Moreno. Both of them are really, really good. Both of them are far away. But Scott Moreno is injured and Memphis Cabrera is not. We will take Memphis Cabrera for our last pick. Yeah. And Moreno went right there to the Brewers. And he was injured. Look at 79 to 84 because of that injury. If that's the right guy I'm thinking of. Yeah. So we made the right pick there. Yeah. Let's go see what these guys were. And now I just kind of feel bad. We just did all those moves to try to make JD Martinez part of this team, and we're going to give him back to Boston. This team's not a playoff team. We do not have the Grimace magic right now. And so we're going to give him back to Boston. We're going to get a pitching prospect in return. I'm sorry. Getting more prospects, we are going to give up Marte, Torrens, and Rayleigh, all top-end guys on our team right now, to the Guardians, and get Henches, Martinez, and Jason Churio. They're first in their division, and we're not going to make the playoffs, so this just kind of makes sense for us to clear some money too. And to complete the sell-off, we're going to probably just need to get rid of everybody who's got an expiring deal. So Sevy's going to go out for Chase Hampton and Henry Lillane to the Yankees. So that draft turned out well, and I think the main thing about the draft was that we got pretty much every guy that we were looking for. We went in saying there were 4 guys we were interested in. We got 3 of those 4. In Deitzman, Damon, and Ortega. All of them end up being pretty good potential players. I like that Damon is good in hits and walks per 9 already. Or this is why I didn't like Ortega as much, because the walks and hits per 9 are a little bit lower, but he's also a high school pitcher. He has a little bit further away to go. Escobedo does not really look as interesting as I thought he would. That hits per 9 is pretty bad. But I think that we've built a interesting core here, and then Memphis Cabrera obviously will probably never play for us, but is an interesting prospect. I do want to go check that other second baseman, Andres Silva. Yeah, he was also pretty good too. So yeah, not that bad of a draft for us, and I think that we did a pretty good job in it. Oh, wait, no, this is Andres Silva. Did we get? Were we scouting Andres Silva or Andres Oliva was who we were scouting? Yes, he looks good. Okay, all right. Sorry, 2 guys with similar names there. Yeah, I think we did a pretty good time in the draft. So the reason I did the sell off is we're 52 and 58. We're like 10 games out of the wild card right now. The wild card is not a close race at all. It is the top 3 dominating. And so I figured it'd be better to just sell off and go into this offseason with some cap space. Or budget space. I keep saying cap space. 77 and 85. That is a slightly below mid-season. Kind of probably where you actually see the Mets being this in real life. We actually rattled off a big 14-game winning streak. And still ended up below 500. So not the most impressive season for us. We did get gold gloves from Castellanos got a gold glove. Marcell Ozuna gets the MVP. McMahon with the runner-up. Jordan in the AL getting MVP. Glasnow with the Cy Young on the NL side, and Corbin Burns on the AL side. I do want to go look, because how did he get a gold glove? Oh my god, the outfield was just bad in right field, I guess. Yeah, he didn't deserve it, but man. I'll take it, I guess. I'll take a gold glove for Castellanos. Great. Oh my god, he's so expensive. We might have to move him in the offseason. League leaders this year, I don't think we had anybody. Only Luis Arias got up to 200 hits. Home run leaders, Ryan McMahon with 41, and Jordan and Judge tie with 51. Pete Alonso did get 37, despite me platoon batting him for half the season because he was doing so poorly. We're going to bring him back because he's cheap and because I feel like you have to bring him back. But yeah, we didn't have a very impressive season. Eovaldi was decent. Senga was good, and Melee, I actually really like what we got from Melee. That's why I brought him in. The bullpen was bad. Even Diaz wasn't really that great, but I mean, I guess 3.52 is not bad. What's his whip at? 1.23. Yeah, it's a little too high for my liking, but it's not horrible. It's just could be better. It's one of his worst seasons. So yeah, not necessarily the best team here. Wallner is the highest average. No, Brett Beatty. Brett Beatty. Okay, Brett Beatty. I'll take that. 300 average from Brett Beatty. Who'd they send down? Gilbert, who I brought up. Oh my god, he did not hit well. Okay. Yeah, but we got Brett Beatty doing well. I'll take that, if anything. Carlos Santana put in a good year. Okay. Gets on base, at least, Mauricio, in his rookie season. We're going to have to make some moves in the offseason. I think the guys who are safe, because I think Gilbert's going to play next year, up, are Wallner, Beatty, Alvarez, Mauricio, the kind of core guys. I'd be willing to get rid of Jeff McNeil, but I don't know if we should. We might just keep him around. Castellanos, we probably should move off of. We can probably take advantage of the fact that he just put his best defensive season together. And we're stuck with this Lindor contract till 2031. Hopefully he can continue to perform better than this. And this is just a down year for him or something, because that was bad. Okay, let's sim the postseason. The Guardians defeat the Braves in the 2024 World Series. We helped them out. We're taking credit for that one. I like to take credit for it. David Fry, and then... But none of our guys played well in the postseason. Josh Naylor had 10 home runs in the postseason. That's kind of crazy. Okay, but the Guardians win a World Series in 2024. We're going to go to this offseason, and we might make some moves to free up some cash, and we will try to retain Pete Alonso. In an attempt to stack up some players from similar areas, I know that it's not necessarily saving us cash, technically saving us like nothing, but we are going to get Michael Busch, who's from Minnesota, and then Seiya Suzuki and Shota Imanaga, who are both from Japan, to add to this team to continue to give us more guys from certain regions, because I do need to make a bunch of moves, and so I want to try to get guys that are from the same regions, because I can't necessarily get guys who are just all Mets. So Michael Busch, Seiya Suzuki, and Shota Imanaga. I also then need to get a few more Dominican players in order to kind of supply this. And so we're going to get Eniel De Los Santos, who fits this requirement because he has played in Cleveland, who Sam Hentges was also there beforehand. So that should hopefully clean up that matchup, as De Los Santos and Hentges have a relationship. And we're going to be getting rid of Jeff McNeil, Schreiber, and Sean Reed Foley. 10th best odds for the top pick. Let's see what we can get. We pretty much just made those moves that we showed, plus a few signings, and then bring back Pete. 10th pick. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. So not too much, but the rotation and lineup are going to be way different than they were last year. Starting 2025 with our basically completely new roster, we've committed to a few different groups of players that can be considered friends in our friendship build. Now, a lot of this is in our pitching staff. You can see I have Kodai Senga, Shota Imanaga, Yusei Kikuchi, and we got Roki Sasaki. So we have, and plus Fujinami, we have 5 Japanese players, and then we have another one on the way as our starting pitching. It's not, at least not starting, but like pitching rotation. We still have Eovaldi, who still classifies due to his relationships now that he has been on the team. Plus, being from Texas helps because we have a lot of guys from Texas, and Budo from Venezuela. Brought in Trent Thornton, who has a relationship with Kikuchi, who had a relationship with Edwin Diaz. So, yeah, that's how we get that to work. Playing on the same teams. Kind of a crazy mix to make this all work. But hey, we got it. Henderson de los Santos plus Lindor. So this is our pitching rotation. Lineup wise, we made in the Michael Busch move, which we got in bringing in Seiya Suzuki. So those guys all work because they play together. They're all teammates. That's why you bring them in groups in order to keep them as that. But now we have Dominican, Florida, Minnesota, Japan, Minnesota, Venezuela. Lindor is the odd man out here, but he's around and he's been from Cleveland, Minnesota, Texas, Japan, Florida, Dominican Republic. This guy has a relationship because he has played on Cleveland. And then that helps us make room for Texas. And then we have Acuña's from Venezuela, and we have more Texas guys coming. So basically what this team is going to end up looking like is a bunch of players from Texas, Minnesota, Florida, Venezuela, the Dominican, and Japan. Seems like a big group, but when you consider that there's 26 guys on the team, it makes it kind of interesting. So that is what we have going into this season. We have pick 10, and the hope is that we can make a wild card. I don't know. I like the pitching staff. I don't like the bullpen, but I like the pitching staff. And I think the lineup is young, but I like the players we have in it. I've never really seen a chance for like these guys to really succeed. Maybe Lindor can have a better season, but we're going to give the young guys and Mauricio a shot. Beatty was good last year. Alvarez is good. And then some of the other young guys to come up as they will come up, like Jet Williams will be up at the end of the season. So, yeah, interesting team this year. We'll see how it goes. If we make a move at the deadline, it would probably be a selling move. I don't know which player we would sell. Maybe a pitcher, maybe Eovaldi, or a buy in the bullpen if we're good. So that's what we would be looking like at the deadline. So we're going to make our way to the draft. This looks like a June from hell for me. Yeah, we have absolutely spiraled. We've dealt with some pretty bad injuries. We lost Matt Wallner. We lost Roki Sasaki. We lost Pete Alonso for a while. It's not been a good season. It's not been a good season. I'm probably going to move Eovaldi before the draft, or, before we sign our picks. This is just, yuck. The amount of pitching in this draft is kind of crazy. There's a lot of really, really, really good pitching, to the point where we have this Alexi Gutierrez guy who looks very, very good, obviously. Number 1 ranked prospect. Do we take him? We probably should if he's available at 10. But I almost want to just take this guy right here, Kenny Willie, as a player simply because he's a position guy, and there's so much pitching in this draft that I feel like we can get it. And we have young pitchers already in our system, so we're gonna run this. We're gonna see what we can get. I would prefer to honestly get that outfielder, simply because I do think that he would have a little bit more value for us if he's there. Obviously, we're gonna continue to go on the idea of wondering if he is actually there or not. And Gutierrez is gone, so that's not even gonna make too much of a pick problem. All right, perfect. So looking at this, looks like yeah, Willie's the right pick. Made that nice and easy for us. And even so, there is some pitchers that I like that are also still available. Not the top one I liked. I think he's gone. Who was it? George Eaton. This was the guy I actually should have been debating. George Eaton versus him. But, I think we did all right. Decent reliever here who looks really, really interesting, but I don't think you can waste your second pick on a reliever. So I think we're going to side between Chris Kessler and Antonio Rosado. I think we'll go Rosado. And then we can grab this reliever anyways. That will allow me to get... Do we want JT Finn and get a great reliever? It's round 4. We have 2 more picks. We're going to take Saccone because I think that's probably the harder thing to get. Because then we can go for... do I want Macaulay or Zarco? We're going to go Zarco. There, and I can get Miguel Cano or Macaulay. Just make sure there's no other guys I really like on the board. No, I think Macaulay's probably the best player here. Yeah, we'll take Macaulay. That'll be our draft. I think we're going to try to find a way to sell Nathan Eovaldi here at the deadline.
And so, because we are not going to be competitive for the rest of this season, we are going to move off of Nathan Eovaldi. We're going to get Wilmer Flores and Emmanuel Bonilla from the Blue Jays, who need a starting pitcher. So, this should probably be the only move I think we're going to make, though. So, taking a look at our draft picks, looks like Kenny Wiley, or Willie Wiley, whatever, was a very, very good pick here. 90 potential. He's already 73 overall. He's pretty close already. I mean, this is a fantastic pick. He has some power. He has some contact. He has some defense. He's an all-around guy. I like him. And he's 18, so he's young too. Rosado's a little further away, but still decent. Johnny Jordan's a little bit further away, but as a reliever, 89 potential is, that's a big deal. Saccone, 92 potential, pretty good too. He's further away and he's 21, so we probably will never see him. And then Zarco and Macaulay were just kind of reliever picks that I was hoping would be a little bit more productive or a little bit closer, but they weren't. So just a quick slide through. There was Gutierrez, 92 potential. So it doesn't really look like this draft was too. Oh my God. Generational talent at that catcher. But like some of the guys that we were deciding between. Wow. I already forgot if he was available when we... Did they have an earlier... No, they had to have had an earlier pick than us. Yeah, that guy's kind of crazy. Yeah, he had to have been gone. Okay. Anyways. 52-57. We are slightly out of the wild card right now. 2 games back. We obviously made our selling trade. But we're not necessarily looking to be competitive. If we can get a wild card, we can get a wild card. I will take it. But yeah, this is our team this year. So 74-88, another mediocre season for us as we take another tumble here in August. I mean, oh no, I want to go up to here. The team's still young, so we can grant it that it's not necessarily the greatest. Roki Sasaki wins Rookie of the Year this year. Shohei gets the MVP. Strider gets the Cy Young on this side. Juan Soto, the White Sox, MVP with Rodon, Cy Young on that side. So besides our Rookie of the Year, and Gilbert was third, so we had 2 guys here that I think were pretty good. We were kind of a mediocre team. I don't think anything across the board was very good. I'm pretty sure if I go to team statistics and look at team rankings, we'll find ourselves somewhere in the middle. Oh, or not. 28th in batting average. Yeah, that's not good. So I'm guessing our pitching was actually higher then?
24th. Okay, so no, we weren't a mediocre team. We were a bad team. I felt like we were a mediocre team, but maybe that's because I didn't check in August. We sadly didn't lose enough games to really be out of it. So we'll probably still be sitting at like 10th, 11th best odds again this year for a top pick. So, yeah. Taking a look at our pitching rotation, Miyagi came up, 6.35. Yeah, Kikuchi wasn't good. I know Budo wasn't good. Bullpen was all right. Wasn't great, but it was all right. So, I mean, yeah, not a very, very impressive season from us across the board. Senga was our best pitcher, and he got hurt at the end of the year. They sent anybody down? Hartwig. He only had 6 innings, but all right. And then lineups. Let's see. Can they send anybody down? Beatty. 245, 7 home runs, 324 on base. I mean, it's still okay getting on base that much, but it wasn't this season, and I'm wondering if this was a fluke. But he's still young. He's 25. We signed him to a long-term deal. I'm hoping that we can get a little bit closer to this upcoming season, but this was just kind of a bad year for him across the board. And it looks like contact-wise, he was bad against righties. They also sent Mauricio down, who was also not so good. 273 on base percentage is kind of my sign there that he was a pretty mediocre guy this year. But he's still 24. He's improving, so I'm not too upset about it. Angel Martinez, 234, 270. Yeah, it's just the young guys that we had this year just didn't really perform. I'm pretty sure if I go to the MLB level, so I had to bring JD in because we had injuries. Mori, Vientos was all right. Acuna came up for September. Okamoto came up because of injuries. Bush was probably one of our best players here, 355 on base. Seiya Suzuki was obviously our actual best player, hitting 23 home runs, 298. And Pete Alonso, who missed the first half of the season, still got to 25 home runs, so I'll take it. But come on, Pete, I need you to do more. And then Lindor is a little bit better. Still Gold Glove defense, so we'll take it. I need more from a bat. But yeah, Alvarez and Gilbert weren't that great. So just our young core that we have built this team around wasn't really that impressive this season. And that's gonna hurt. If you're running like 6 young players on this team and none of them do anything special, you're not gonna win games. And so we'll sim the postseason. The Dodgers defeat the Orioles in the 2025 World Series. Your World Series MVP is Freddie Freeman. Mookie Betts getting postseason MVP. And on the AL side, it's Adley Rutschman, Mountcastle, and Ryan O'Hearn. So we'll see what we can do next season. I think we're pretty much just relying on these younger guys to play a little bit better this year. Pitching staff should be pretty much the same. I am concerned about a little bit of it. Like Kikuchi was not good this year. Do I want to bring up Christian Scott because he has not been good in AAA? Did we just keep David Peterson up? Did we go with Miyagi? I don't know. I'm gonna look. Maybe we need some more bullpen arms too, and in the lineup. I don't know. We've got young guys. We'll just see what's available. We've got cash. This may seem like an odd deal at first, but I'm wheeling and dealing. Okay, we are gonna get Gavin Sheets, Starlin Caba, and Christian Hernandez in this deal. Continuing to wheel and deal, we are going to get Chris Flexen and William Ozuna from the White Sox. Once again, this might not make sense yet, but it will. I think we have the 11th best odds this year, so probably still getting pick 11. I don't really like being down there, but I guess we'll be down there. So we actually made a lot of moves this offseason, which has put our pitching into the 4th best pitching team. Now, why we made a bunch of the moves that we did in the trades that I made, I said, were because I would have to show you they will make a little bit more sense in time. Well, the reason for all this is we brought in Ranger Suarez to be the starting pitcher. I was looking for, and I said before, I wanted a Venezuelan starter. Ranger Suarez is that. Now, the problem is Ranger Suarez has only ever played on Philadelphia. So we needed to make some connections here. I also brought in Michael Kopech, who has really only played on Chicago. Okay. So with that, we brought in Chris Flexen, who is a former Met, meaning he has played with Pete Alonso, all of that. So he has that relationship there. And a former White Sox, meaning he has also played with Michael Kopech. So that creates a relationship there. We brought in Trevor Richards as a pitcher off of waivers because he has a relationship with Kikuchi. When I go to our lineups, we brought in Gavin Sheets because he was on Philadelphia and Chicago, meaning he connects with both of those players. And then we also had to bring in a couple. Well, we brought in a couple like bench guys that we didn't have there either. I also brought in Kensuke Kendo, who is a rookie who is from Japan, so that is where that connection is. Basically, everyone is connected once again. Suarez through Sheets, through Kopech, through Flexen, back to the Mets. So there's a lot of weird ways to make that work. But this is going to be our rotation this year. I think I might have overpaid Suarez, to be honest, but I wanted an ace. And I don't know if Senga could be that because he's 33. I don't know if Shota could be that because he's 32. And Suzuki's a little further away. Budo has been really disappointing. And I still don't have... I don't know. I need Christian Scott to actually, and Hiroe Miyagi to actually like show me something at AAA, and neither of them have been able to do that. So that is our rotation. This is our lineup this upcoming season. We have pick 11. I think this is a wild card team. Looking at it now, we would need our young guys like Alvarez, who's regressing, by the way. We would need Alvarez, Gilbert, Mauricio. Where is Brett Beatty? Brett Beatty, who is now on the bench. I think I'm going to swap that. I know Vientos is technically better, but do I want Vientos or do I want Beatty? Like, I personally prefer building this team around Brett Beatty. Maybe we'll just have those two platoons, and we'll figure out who's playing better at the other half of the season. So the two platoons are going to be Acuna and Mauricio, and then Vientos and Beatty in those spots. And then I also have Sheets as a backup for a bunch of positions, Kendo as a backup outfielder, and then we have our backup catcher. So this will be, I think, a wild card team. We will see. I just need all of our guys to actually perform this season. Pick 11, and this looks like another draft where we could have had a generational guy here at the top, and this isn't even the guy that I'm thinking. And like, it's funny, we didn't make the playoffs both years, and I think because we're going for this like middle of the pack, like somewhat competitive right now. I wonder if we're hurting ourselves at this chance of having these top end prospects simply because, you know, we're trying to be competitive. Now, also, we could just make the wild card, and this is null and void, this whole argument. But there have been prospects in these classes that have looked really, really good. And because of that, I don't know if we're going to get something great for this draft. We have pick 11. A lot of the great players are going to be gone. We do have a second first-round pick, thanks to the Rookie of the Year for Roki Sasaki last year. So we aren't, like, that far off, but... yeah, and we have prospects in our system. There's no saying like these draft picks aren't going to make a massive change, but I'd like them to. All right, so looking at this, looks like all the, oh my god, I think like all the players I really wanted are gone. Colt Hoosby's good here, as well as Terry Frazier. This outfielder, I like the contact, I like the vision, I like the discipline. He doesn't have any power. He's close. He's 5'8". We just don't need a center fielder. And so do I just take the pitcher? We don't need a pitcher either. We really don't need any of this. So we probably should just go best available. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take Colt Hoosby with our first pick. And I think what I want to do is I like how close this guy could be. It's giving me that McKnight vibes, Aaron McKnight. and I'm hoping I can be right. I could also be completely wrong. This guy could be trash. But I don't know. Aaron McKnight was such a ridiculous prospect. If you have not watched the Cubs video, go back. You will. That prospect is probably one of the craziest, like, best prospects I've seen playing this game. So yeah, I think then we're just gonna take pitchers for the rest of our picks, because I don't necessarily have any specific interests beyond that, and I don't have any like deep stash picks this year like I normally end up doing. Sweet, we can just take this guy, right? Oh my god, those hits per 9. Okay, we'll take you. And with our last pick, okay, he's still there. He's still there, but he's bad. We go... Well, let's just go highest potential. We'll just take Patrick Young. I don't like his stats, but whatever. All right, and that's our draft. We are 49 and 47. We are above 500. We are in the wild card race, despite losing, 6 of our last 7 games, because we are really, really streaky. But I think this is a playoff team. We've got some guys that are producing really, really well right now. And it wasn't anything special. Colt Hughesby wasn't really that great, and Chris Hyde, at least he's close. But we took a swing on something that I was hoping would be a little bit more than what he ended up being. I guess that's all right. The rest of the prospects aren't really that impressive. However, it is nice to see Marshall Jensen, a reliever, be already 73, and Herrera, a reliever, already be 68. So these guys are close. I like to see that. Even Hyde is close, and Hughesby is close. But yeah, I mean, it's not a great draft. We didn't do anything. Oh, wow. Like, this guy was available. Could have had him with our second pick. And I didn't even see him, to be honest. So, like, looking through a lot of these picks, it looks like we did not necessarily do very, very well in this draft. And it could be that, too. I was scouting really heavy on the top end guys, like this Dallas Knotts guy, who I really, really wanted to drop to me, but he didn't. Oh, this guy was available with our second pick still. And he was on my board. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. That hurts. And Friedenberg was really good too. Yeah, stack class. I'm okay. I need to not be as negative. Hughesby is fine. The only reason I'm being negative is because, all right, what is with this team? We were like 8 games above 500. No one got hurt. And then it's just, we just have months of just horrible, horrible baseball. I don't know. Accidentally hit the button, but we somehow went 86 and 76, putting together a crazy good August and September to get ourselves into the postseason as what I believe as the second wild card team, going 86 and 76, and getting in. I mean, below 500 would have gotten you a wild card spot in the NL, so that doesn't really mean much. Shohei Ohtani wins the MVP on the NL side. On the AL side is Yordan Alvarez with 59 home runs. Wow. Kirby with the Cy Young, and Shohei with the Cy Young on the NL side. We didn't have any awards. It's kind of hard to win any Rookie of the Year stuff when you've got now generational talents in here. But I don't think we had a bad season across the board. Taking a look at league leaders, Shohei with 347, Correa with 337. We did have Michael Busch here hitting over 300. A couple 200 hit guys, and Shohei and Acuna, as Shohei put together just a masterpiece of a season. So he had 4 WAR pitching and 9 WAR hitting. So a 13, almost 14 WAR season for him. 13.6 WAR season for Shohei Ohtani, with 49 home runs, 343 average, 1.0 OPS, plus just a crazy 3.22 ERA. Like, this is an insane season. Comparing it even to his his MVP season. Was it, which year did he win MVP? 21 and 23. Let's look at 21. Yeah, in 23 at higher OPS, but it looks like from WAR standpoint, yeah, this was his greatest season ever. I mean, that's crazy. That's a crazy season from Shohei. Acuna was very good. I just wanted to show some of those too, because that's ridiculous. And then 59 home runs from Yordan Alvarez. We did get 40 from Pete, so he did end up getting up there. The team has been performing, I think, all right. Ranger Suarez, Kodai, the pitching staff has been decent. Bottom half is a little weak, but Kikuchi will probably be gone, I think. I don't know. Maybe we'll re-sign him for another season. It's just we've got other guys coming. Budo wasn't that great. Richards. So the bullpen was all right, but it looks like they sent down Kopech, who had a 9 ERA in 26 innings, so he was not good. How many? Yeah. 4 losses, 11 blown saves with 0 saves. You got to even luck into that. How do you not even luck into a single save? That's horrible. All right. They set down Flexen. 3.55 for Flexen. So Flexen was pretty good. And we'll keep him around, I guess, for another season. Lineup wise, AAA, who'd they sent down? Mauricio, who's just getting worse. Okay. 179, 253 on base for him. Angel didn't even play. Oh, well, he did. He had 7 at-bats. Struck out once. So nothing there. Let's look at the MLB. Sheets, meh. Got on base, though. This is why you generally bring in Gavin Sheets. Dude just gets on base. Walks a lot. Seiya Suzuki got hurt. So we'll see. I kept him in the lineup, though, because I didn't want to run into the problem where he couldn't play in the postseason if we advance. But 149 hits, 16 home runs, 276. Once again, probably one of our best players. Kendo was fantastic off the bench. Acuna, 18 home runs, 320 average, 363 on base. I think he might have just taken that second base spot for himself this year. Lindor, 253. Michael Busch has been playing second base in the other side. 306, 371. He's actually been our best player as Pete. I like the slugging, but okay, so 474 slugging. Look at Busch, 557. I know that you would generally want to keep a guy like Pete Alonso, but why? What is he bringing to the table for us right now? We might move off of him, to be honest. I don't know if that's something he just doesn't. He doesn't bring enough to the table for me to go out and say, oh, we need to keep him. We have other first basemen. Okay. Wallner was all right. Beatty. A potential. Let's go. Okay. So Beatty is the guy at third. Alvarez was bad again. We might have to bring in another catcher. And then Gilbert did so well in AAA, but man, he sucks up here. And then, they did send down Moya. Where? Oh, he's right here. Mori. They've been playing right field. Okay. Oh, yeah, because of Suzuki's injury. Okay. I will fix this lineup for our series against the Braves. So, starting game 1 will be Suarez, then Senga, and then Shota as our pitching rotation. Let's see what we can do against the Braves. In game 1, we lose. Perfect, and we get Seiya back, so let me go fix that quick. We are going to go put Seiya here and Seiya here. I put Kendo in that spot instead. All right, so we lose 2-4 in the first game, just giving up 3 in the third. Looks like Ranger gave up those. Kodai Senga versus Bryce Elder in game 2 is a 1-10 loss. We get absolutely destroyed, and we lose in this one. The Mariners go on to defeat the Phillies in the World Series. If we take a look at awards, that is a Jock Peterson World Series MVP. Bryce Harper getting the that on this side, and Julio on this side, as Seattle wins their first ever World Series. I'm going to think about trading Pete Alonso. I want to see what's all available to us first, but I think we need some more production from, well, a couple spots. I like that guys are growing, but Pete is just really disappointing to me right now. We're going to make a big trade, including Ronnie Mauricio and Matt Wallner. I have an idea of what I want to do here, so we're going to make a few moves, and we're just going to get a bunch of prospects from the Marlins, including that second baseman who I liked. 2027, we have made a few changes. Once again, keeping the pitching rotation pretty much the same. The only thing we did is we brought in Jose Alvarado, who played on Philly with Ranger Suarez, so we can keep him around. We brought up Christian Scott and Hiroi Miyaga. So that's a total. The bullpen is way better. I also did release Michael Kopech from his prison of AAA because that was bad last year, but I want to see more. I want to see a chance of him being better. So I think this is a good enough pitching staff to possibly get us to a World Series. Lineup-wise, we need production. And so I got rid of Wallner, and I brought in Ian Happ because my thought is Ian Happ's from Pennsylvania. We can bring him in because of the relationship with Bush and Suzuki because they are former Cubs. But if Gilbert is bad again, I wanted to be able to bring up somebody, specifically Kenny Wiley, and Kenny Willie, and he's from Pennsylvania, as is Ian Happ, so I wanted to have that relationship between them because I wanted to be able to bring him up. Jed Williams can come up if needed as well, and Deitzman could come up too. Beyond that, I don't really know. Hopefully this team is competitive enough that we don't have to do anything crazy. Now, Gilbert needs to show me something. I hate to put guys on a short leash like this, but this has been 2 seasons of nothing. I need something this year. If he gives me nothing this year, he's gone. He's gone simply because we have Willie, or Wiley, whatever. I don't know how to say it, Wiley. And we might be able to get something back that's more competitive that fits our timeline. I think Jet Williams could come up. He will come up in September if you know that's the latest. But yeah, that's going to be the lineup this year. Deitzman and Jet may come up. Wiley may come up. Otherwise, this is the team. I like the rotation. I like the bullpen. We have even more guys. I sent Budo down because of his bad year, or 2 bad years in a row. Maybe he can get a little better. But yeah. See you at the draft. Starting the 2027 draft. Once again, I think there's some generational prospects at the very top of this class. And so, you know, making the wild card last year was nice, but we're just... I haven't seen a rebuild where there's been as many top tier talent players in every single draft. And it's not saying that we are missing out. We are getting good prospects with our picks. I like the picks that we've made. The problem has just been that, oh, did they take the catcher I liked? They did. The problem has just been that, like right there, the guys that I like are always gone by the time I get to make that pick. So, yeah, we're stuck with, like, do we take this guy? He's probably the best player here. Do we go with this guy? I think what we're going to do is we're just going to take best player available, especially because at this point, our team is pretty full of players. And so I'm not necessarily needing to be picky and be like, well, we need this position or we need this position. We have guys at every position that we need. And we have the ability to get guys at every position that we need. So I think I liked, was it him or, I liked him too. I think we're going to go 70 to 83. We're going to go him. Safer pick. And then then we can get him too. And Alex Mendoza is still here. Did a lot of discovery in this draft. And just make sure there's no other interesting prospects. Nope, he is the best prospect. All right. not a bad draft. Just knowing that there is guys like right here, there's Will Frazier, Darren Evans, even some of the later guys that we didn't get. Just happens a lot. Either way, I think we're a wild card team again, though like a significantly safe wild card team. The difference is just, the NL East is very, very strong. So we might not win the division, but could still be a very, very good team. Second best player available seemed to work out pretty well for us, I think. Bautista with a 92 potential, Carmona with 87, Mendoza with 86. We really didn't miss on anything here. Even I really like this Killian Averill guy because I like the contact and the vision. Good guy who'll get on base too. So I think we did a good job, but I do just want to scroll through quick. Not necessarily guys that we missed, but I want to see. Oh wow, Hank Marlin was good. Which, by the way, I think we still made the right pick, but with Bautista, but yeah. Will Frazier was not good. Okay, good to know. Looked like a generational, but he wasn't. Spillane wasn't as good either. And Darren Evans was. So. Another, and then Randall Gale was good too. This is also a really good player. So, I think we had him scouted as well, but far away. So, I think this will end up being, competitive season. We're 67-46. This is a very, very competitive NL East. I like the draft that we made, though I don't necessarily know if any of these guys are going to play for us before we end up going for a World Series. I gave Roki Sasaki an extension. And everybody is playing well, so I haven't made any call-ups or call-downs. And like I said, 96 and 66, we are a wild card team. So 96 wins doesn't get you the division of the NL East, because the NL East is stacked. 102 wins for the Phillies, 92 wins for the Braves. Crazy division for us right now. And all three of us get in. Marlins miss right there at the bottom. And we put together a really good season, I think. Award winners, we didn't have any. Shohei gets another MVP, making that his 5th MVP. This is the Shohei sim, I guess, as he had how much WAR this one and 7 WAR there. Yeah. He's kind of been killing it. Shohei gets the MVP. Cy Young goes to Spencer Strider on the NL side. On the AL side, Grayson Rodriguez gets the Cy Young. And Mike Trout gets another MVP. 4 MVPs now for him. I'm taking a look. I think we had some guys in the Rookie of the Year race here, in Scott and Miyagi, but 26 home runs, kind of hard to beat. And I know that we did have Sasaki in the Cy Young race for a large portion of the season. League leaders, Roki Sasaki with winning percentage. Batting average, we didn't have anybody. Now, it is notable that Michael Busch did get hurt at the end of the season, so that is going to be a part of that. We lost Michael Busch. He tore his calf, so that's our best hitter, and he got hurt. Yeah. Anyways, league leaders, 300, no 200 hit guys. Brandon Nimmo. Wow. Good for you, Minnesota. Taking a look at home runs, Vladdy and Shohei, no Mets because Pete is just not a home run hitter, I guess. Okay, taking a look at the pitching rotation. Suarez, Senga, Roki, Scott were good. Imanaga was not. Budo came up. He was decent. And did they send anybody down? Miyagi, 448 is also pretty good. We will bring Miyagi back up. They sent Kopech down too. Kopech, 372, much improved over last season. Basically, it looks like he just gave up less home runs, so he didn't give up as many runs in total. For him this season, we will make those adjustments for this playoff run, as we have Edwin Diaz in the closer spot, Alvarado in the setup. Yeah, the bullpen has been phenomenal. Our pitching this season was very, very good. I actually think that if we probably look at team rankings, I'm going to guess by ERA, we are up near the top. Yeah, second. We were the second best pitching staff this year. We made all those changes. We went and invested in the bullpen, and we now have a good team, pitching-wise. When it comes to the lineup, first they sent anybody down. Willie, who came up and didn't do much, and Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we this season went with Maury at catcher, and that was valuable. I know I looked at that because I was debating it partially through the season, and he hit 302. Alvarez, funnily enough, had a really good year as a bench catcher, but yeah, he had just had so many bad years. I wanted to switch it up, and looks like that was a good decision. Sheets, all right. Kondo, good. Acuna, where did the power go? Where'd the power go? He had 18 home runs last year. He had 2 this year. So, yeah, not necessarily what I like to see from Acuna. I brought Jet Williams up, and he was all right at that second base spot. Not a lot of at-bats, though. And Drew Gilbert actually put together a decent season, so I thought it was fine to keep him up in that spot. Otherwise, Brett Beatty back up to 300 as he has improved. And Pete, should I have traded him? I just don't. He's getting on base at least, okay? But I feel like we're paying him so much money for 800 OPS. Like, I can get that from. I mean, Lindor is a bad example because he's actually getting paid a lot. But like Beatty is getting 800 OPS. Suzuki's not. He had a bad year this year. Hap we brought in almost an 800. So I guess, okay, maybe I'm overreacting. I've just seen a lot of 800 OPSs, and I just feel like Alonso should be in the 9s. So otherwise, team is pretty good. The only issue is we lost Michael Busch, which is hard because right here you can see Michael Busch, as usual, has been our best hitter. This is the 900 OPS I was talking about. Like, if this is my first baseman, this guy is perfect, right? But yeah, we don't have him. He tore his calf, so he's done. So I will go and fix the rotation and stuff, and then we have to play Atlanta again, and hopefully this time, having home field advantage, we can beat them. So taking on the Atlanta Braves in back-to-back seasons in our wild card, we have Strider versus Elder. It's basically the same thing. I think I just have Sasaki here in this third spot. So Suarez versus the NL Cy Young Spencer Strider. 6-3 victory. Thank you, as we light up Spencer Strider. I'll take that. And Senga versus Bryce Elder in game 2. 3-2. We go on and win that one to go play the super team Dodgers. I'm not going to switch anything up because I trust Sasaki. We're going to go Sasaki versus Shohei. That is an 11-10 loss, as we made a comeback, but we just weren't able to keep it up. I want to see who gave up that run in the 9th. Alvarado. Or no, Henches did. Damn. Okay. Game 2 against the Dodgers. Christian Scott versus Tyler Glasnow is an 8-1 victory. Shota Imanaga versus Bobby Miller in Game 3 is a 6-7 loss, as Edwin Diaz blows the save, giving up 3 runs in the 9th. I love closers. Whew. All right. Ranger Suarez versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto in Game 4, 5-3. We have a Game 5, Senga versus Otani. Yeah, I think we'll do that. We will sim through it, and we win that one to go take on the Phillies, as it looks like we scored 2 in the 9th, 1 in the 4th. That is all thanks to an RBI from Suzuki, Vientos, and Drew Gilbert, as we get, looks like probably a sac fly from Suzuki and a couple singles from Vientos and Gilbert to get us those that 3 runs. So now we have Phillies. We're going to stay on top with Sasaki, and then Scott, and then Imanaga. I think that's all right. Maybe I'll switch it at Imanaga, so we'll see. So Sasaki versus Andrew Painter in Game 1 is a 4-5 loss, as we lose it in the 11th. It's fine. It's a extra innings, I guess. Christian Scott versus Zach Wheeler in Game 2 is a 3-9 loss, as we lose that one basically in the first. Christian Scott got absolutely lit up. We are going to have to do, I think we're going to make this pitching adjustment and go Suarez, Senga, Sasaki, Scott. If we win this, we have to win 4 of the next 5. Suarez versus Nola, 9-5. I will take that as we get that victory nice and late, scoring 7 runs in the 6th, going on a big rally in that game. Senga versus Christopher Sanchez in Game 4 is a 9-4 victory. It is 2-2. Another game here at home for Roki Sasaki versus Andrew Painter. That is a 3-5 loss. We are now down 3-2 for Christian Scott versus Zach Wheeler. We win that one, forcing a Game 7 here against Philadelphia. So I think we are going to run this. Yeah, we will quick manage it. And so, Citizens Bank, we are away. Do I go Imanaga or Suarez? I think we're going to go Suarez. And anybody hitting really poorly? Beatty, of course. It is pouring outside. Apologize if you can hear the rain. All right, we get through nothing in the first. We hold them to nothing in there. Having Michael Bush would be nice right now, but we don't. Still no hits for us going into the fourth. A double from Seiya Suzuki and a single from Lindor. I think we need to get that run when we can. Sack fly for Pete Alonso gets us there. First and second. And a ground out from Beatty. We now have a 1-0 lead that is really, really valuable here. A walk for Happ. And that is nothing. So we walk Moncada. And there we go. So we are now on the top of the sixth. Suzuki gets on. Alonso strikes out. We have a man on first and second for Brett Beatty, who flies out. We will go one more time with Suarez. I don't know. I might just keep him in. All right. We're going to keep him in. He's still doing well. Do you keep him in? Let's just check. Should not have. Pitching change. We are going to go to the righty and Michael Kopech. And they switch to a lefty. Single sack bunt, 2-run score. No, not the bullpen. All right. Mark Vientos versus Matt Strom. Ground out. Brett Beatty flies out. And Tamaya Mori loses that one. A fantastic pitching outing, too. And we get nothing there. We lose that one. David Peterson, the former Met, by the way. It's in the rest of the postseason. The Phillies go on to defeat the Astros. John Williams, Yohan Moncada, Adolis Garcia. Should have just stuck with Ranger Suarez. 2028, and since we made it all the way to the NLCS Game 7, we're just going to run it back with the same team. The only differences I made was I did go out and bring in Alexis Diaz, the brother of Edwin Diaz. I figured, why not, right? I know that he hasn't played for any teams, but I think like a brotherly connection works as our form of friendship. And when you consider that 25 of the 26 guys in the lineup were on the lineup last year, yeah, we are going to use the power of friendship to win a World Series. I don't even know if I'm going to draft. You know what? I probably won't. I think we're winning it this year or next year. No, scratch that. We're winning it this year. Power of friendship, baby. It's the trade deadline, and this team is 52-54. Now, we do have a positive ratio. We should be closer to where the Phillies are based on our runs scored and runs allowed, but like, does the power of friendship not work? Why are we so bad on the road? What's going on? I don't get it. So, we just went to the Game 7 of the NLCS last season, and this season we don't even make the playoffs, like, at all? This is the same team. 79-83, we missed the postseason. Is that a 20 or... No, it's a 17 game differential that we just had there. We also were a positive run scored versus runs allowed team. I want to look in the wild card, so first off, we missed. So we just have shit luck. Because our team performed better than the Diamondbacks. And let's look at the AL. Yeah. We should be a playoff team. This is ridiculous. All right, let's take a look at the awards. Matt Olson gets the MVP. Cy Young goes to Spencer Strider. So the Braves are really good. MVP goes to Seager, and Shane McClanahan gets a Cy Young on this side. So NL across the NL, yeah, nothing. League leaders, Acuna with batting average. Devers on that side, Acuna with hits. Judge on that side, home runs, Acuna. I also am seeing no Mets. I saw one Mets logo. Pitching rotation, Suarez was all right. Sasaki was great. Well, I mean, yeah, he was great. Never mind. What am I saying? I just see the whip. Imanaga was all right. Scott was all right. Miyagi was not necessarily that good. Buda was okay. Henches, De Los Santos, Nunez was all right. 4-5. Oh my. Okay. So the back of the bullpen is blowing games for us. Nunez, Diaz, and Alvarado. Or not Nunez. Diaz, and Alvarado. Just giving up runs, blowing saves. And they sent Senga down. 6 ERA from him. All right. I don't know what we're going to do. Lineups. Who'd they send down here? I think I sent down Kendo. I should have just left him up. Sheets was all right. 347 on base is fantastic, actually. They sent Pete Alonso down. I should have traded him. 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 I talked about it. He is not good. Ugh. All right. Michael Bush was all right. Beatty was pretty good here. Looks like 359 on base. Okay. Lindor is regressing. Happ was pretty good. Maury was pretty good. Vientos was good. Suzuki was good. Gilbert was very good. Jet hit 381 in the minimal games he was up. He's just going to come up next season. Acuna, the power is still not returning from 2026. Alvarez is not good. Wiley was all right. Astros defeat the Pirates in the World Series. Trent Grisham winning World Series MVP. Chas McCormick on this side and Yainer Diaz on this side. Okay, I would like to run it back simply for the power of friendship. Man, it's not working. It's not working. I have a bunch of pitchers without options, and we have some regression hitting a lot of them, and so we are going to get one of Lindor's former teammates, former Cy Young winner Shane Bieber, versus Senga, Tidwell, and Sprout. 3 guys that I'm probably going to lose because of their options anyways. And to get rid of more guys that don't have options, we are going to try to capitalize and grab some guys that do, plus Brandon Marsh, a former teammate of Ranger Suarez. And a player that I've kind of wanted to get in a bunch of rebuilds, but just have never gotten a chance to. It's 2029, and I think one of the problems is this team has too many players now. We have a fantastic pitching rotation, probably the best in the league. Sasaki, Bieber, Suarez, Scott, Imanaga, Kopech, Budo, Henches, De Los Santos, Alvarado, and the Diaz brothers. But I need more production from them. I need something else. Lineup wise, we brought in Brandon Marsh. And we brought in Francisco Lindor's friend, Jose Ramirez, who I talked about at the beginning of the rebuild. I thought that he would be a nice, fun addition, though I didn't necessarily need to bring him in because now you can see Pete Alonso is sitting here on the bench. And honestly, I kind of want him there. He makes me mad. Pete Alonso makes me mad. So, Joe Williams is up. I had to send... We have too many players, so... Hopefully this is the year, and then we could just let everybody else ride into the sunset, so... Power of friendship. Please let the Mets win a bunch of games because of it. Okay, that's much better. 94 and 68, we win the division. I'm sad that we had to make all the moves we had to do. We just had to, Lindor was feeling lonely, actually. That was what it was. I think we just made Lindor feel lonely. We had to bring in his friend Shane Bieber and Jose Ramirez, and that just changed it all. And Shane Bieber was third in the Cy Young. MVP goes to Shohei in his absolute dominance. Strider wins another Cy Young. That is 4 Cy Youngs now for Spencer Strider. Jordan gets himself another MVP, and Logan Gilbert gets himself a Cy Young. We had no award winners. Do we have a league leader? Shane Bieber with whip. Otherwise, doesn't look like I see any Mets. Even in home runs? No. Nothing. All right. Pitching rotation. Sasaki was great. Bieber was in the Cy Young race. Honestly, probably could have won a Cy Young had he won more games. Ranger Suarez was good. Scott was good. Budo was all right. Imanaga regressed. Kopech is okay. He's a 92 overall with a 4 with a 5 ERA. Probably because I have him in this long relief role, but I don't know who else I'd put there. They sent down did they? Where is he? Am I stupid? Where's Diaz? He's not injured. They sent him down to single A? 4 ERA, 44 saves. Okay, you can come back up. What? Okay. They sent him down to single A. Great. Love to see that. As was he the only one who got sent down? I think so. Okay, single A. Who did I bring up? Okay, yeah, he was bad. Otherwise, yeah, bullpen was not as good as it was that one year. We had one fantastic year of bullpen, and that was it. Since then, we have not seen it. Who'd they send down this time? Here, Michael Bush. 324 on base, and you send him down. He's regressing, though, and they sent Pete Alonso down, too, who had his best hitting season. On the bench. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that. Because they brought up Aiden Miller. Happ had a 302, 333. Oh my god. And 189 at bats, too. So pretty consistently. He needs to be starting. Acuna 287. Alvarez is bad. Lindor with all his friends hit 23 home runs, 261. So yeah, that's what he needed, his friends. Brett Beatty. I like it. I need more. I would like some more power, but I see he doesn't have much. Seiya is still consistent. At the top of our lineup, Vientos was good. Jose, 35 home runs. He hit the 400 home run club here with us getting 347 on base. Tomi Amori continues to keep that catcher spot. And Brandon Marsh, great pickup. Drew Gilbert was good too. All right, I'm going to fix this, and then we have to play the winner of Atlanta or Pittsburgh. Taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates in round 1, we have Solomedo, Jared Jones, and Paul Skeens. I don't know if they'll switch that up to go against, but yeah, it's fantastic pitching rotation. Let's see what we got. They managed the World Series last year, 6-3 victory in Game 1. Game 2, Bieber versus Jared Jones, 1-5 loss. Game 3, Suarez versus Skeens, 3-1 victory. Game 4, Christian Scott versus Bubba Chandler is a 5-7 loss, which leads us to a Game 5. I'm going to switch this up, and we're going to have Sasaki pitch. Game 5, because I think that's important. 14-3 victory. We will be taking on the Dodgers. Okay, so this is our NLCS. We need to probably make some adjustments here pitching rotation-wise. I'd rather not have Budo pitch, so I think what we're going to do is that. Yeah. Bullpen hasn't really messed anything up yet. So, Dodgers. Okay. They have Bobby Miller, Brasso, Shohei. Okay, same team. Bieber versus Bobby Miller. Okay, take that. 3-2. Suarez versus Frasso. 1-6 loss. Game 3, Christian Scott versus Shohei Ohtani is a 3-4 loss. Giving up all 3 runs in the 6th. Or not all 3, but giving up that. Sasaki versus Hoon-Suk Young. 2-3 loss. All right, this is going to be a tough one. I'm going to have Budo pitch. 5-3 victory. Bieber versus Shohei. 6-3 victory. All right, here is where we put our money where the mouth is. This is our second NLCS game. 7, and I think we're going to go with Suarez again. So play next game and quick manage. All right. In Citi Field, we do have a home field this time. We'll go Suarez. Anybody in the lineup who's doing... I'm debating if I should bring Jet in. For Lindor. Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to bring Jet in. This is going to be the risky move. We're going to go Jet instead of Lindor. If I need to make a switch, we will do that switch. Otherwise, yeah. Oh, no, okay. Yeah. Jet instead of Lindor. Okay. Suarez did so well last time we pitched with him his last game 7. I'm hoping that we can kind of get something. Oh, let's go. Jose! Fielder's choice. Man on first and third for Brandon Marsh. I'm going to sack fly that. Double gets a second and third for Jet Williams, who pops up. But we got a 2-0 lead. And we get through that, even though he gives up some. So first and second, strikeout, fly out, and Jose grounds out. Okay. Gavin Sheets is on this team now. All right. 2-1. 2-1. And they pop up. Okay. Solo home run from Mookie Betts ties the game. We are going to switch out and go to one of our bullpen arms. We have 2 outs, so I can't. Pitching change. I think what we're going to do, I'm going to go Kopech because they've got righties. Ground out, line out. All right, pop up. Sweet. Drew Gilbert versus Ronan Kopp. That's a single. Jet Williams strikes out. He's 0 for 4. Was that a poor move? It might have been. We're gonna have to go with a lefty here. We'll go Alvarado. Walk. Fly out. Single. Pop up. He's not good against lefties, but I think I'm still gonna do one change here. We're gonna give him a righty. We're gonna give him Alexis for 1 pitch. Boom. Okay. We get through that. Seiya Suzuki here in the bottom of the 8th gets a double, and we score the run. We are up 3-2. Fantastic little management there to bring in Alexis Diaz. We are going to make the change though, and we are going to go Edwin Diaz. Fly out, strike out, and let's enter the game. This is our chance to go face Houston. Relies on Edwin Diaz getting the last out in Game 7 of the NLCS. Let's see what he can do against Jake Geloff. With a strike on a slider outside. That's an 0-1 count for Jake Geloff here. And Edwin Diaz take us to the promised land. With the pitch. That slider was high. Looked like if that wasn't high, that could have been a home run easy for Jake Geloff. 1-1 count.
That slider's going to end up way off the plate. Perhaps look a little more down the middle.
With the pitch.
Get it right where you want it.
That ball goes outside. Slider outside. 2-1 count now for Jake Geloff.
You get the feeling as a hitter that
Edwin Diaz is right here on the precipice of making it to the World Series. With a pitch. Strike on a fastball inside. 2-2 count. In the top of the 9th. With the pitch.
Now this one's crushed down the line. Hooking.
That went foul. Oh. I panicked. I was panicking. Okay. Compose yourself too, Edwin. All right.
The Dodgers down to their final strike.
He fouls that off. 2 straight fouls. There's a 2-2 count still. With the pitch. And a strikeout. The Mets are going to the World Series to face the Houston Astros here in 2029.
Congratulations to the National League champions. This team clearly excited, and they deserve every bit of this moment. Enjoy it now, but get yourselves ready for the biggest series of your lives.
All right. Well, that'll take us to the end there. Thank you, Edwin Diaz, even though you scared me. Getting that strikeout. We now have Houston. It is 2029, so we should probably take a look at what this roster actually looks like before we go and play it. We have just played the Dodgers enough that I figured that we had seen that team. So let's go look at the Astros and see what they have to offer. The Astros are over here. Okay, Willie Castro, Tommy Edman, Jordan Alvarez. So decent. I don't have to worry too much. I don't think this team is like stacked, at least in the lineup wise, because besides the middle, Edman, Jordan, Paredes, Diaz, like that's a very, very good middle of the lineup. I do think that we might have a similar middle of the lineup. Adolis Garcia, Harry Ford on their bench too, as well as a backup catcher. Now their rotation looks like Shawver, McClanahan, Hicks, Urquidy, Arrighetti, Brian Abreu, and Bluebow, I don't know who that is, as their closers. They have a very good pitching staff. So this might be a pitching versus pitching type postseason series here against Houston, and I'm hoping that our pitching staff can win this. So who do we have first? We have currently Christian Scott first, so let me go fix that. We want to go Roki. And hopefully this can just be a clean sweep. Okay, and so Sasaki versus McClanahan. Let's do this. Game 1, 4-8 loss. Looks like that was in the 7th, meaning that who gave up all those runs? Ibanagha and Henches. Okay. Game 2, Bieber versus Hicks. 6-5 victory. Let's go. We even get this in the bullpen gets that win as we win that in the 10th. Though, looking at it, they shouldn't have, because Houston scored in the 9th, meaning that we blew the save, technically. Thank you, Edwin Diaz. 1-1 series. Christian Scott versus AJ Smith-Shawver in Game 3 is a 5-0 victory. I like to see that. Nice, clean victory. Suarez versus Urquidy, 2-7 loss. It is a 2-2 series here. Budo versus McClanahan. We'll let Budo go, I think. 4-0 victory. Okay, I'm glad we can't let Budo go because he has been really, really good. Though they give the victory to Shota. Why? Why would Shota get that win? Okay, whatever. All right. Anyways, Sasaki versus Jordan Hicks in Game 6. Advance the day. Let's do this. Play the next game. Player lock. Not player lock. Play the next. Quick manage. I don't want to player lock. City Field. Sasaki. Lindor has still not been good. It's not like Jet did anything special either, but I think I'm still going to go Jet. I don't know, but 3 home runs for Lindor. Maybe we just don't even risk it. Don't even risk it. Just go with what's been working. All right. Sasaki gets through the first there. Single from Suzuki is the first hit of the game. But it stays 0-0. Double from Mori. But nothing there. Top of the 3rd.
Ball 4, take your base.
Ground out gets us out of that. Single from Beatty. Fielder's choice gets out of there.
Take your base, ball 4.
Still 0-0 game. Single from Ramirez. Let's go. RBI single from Maury gives us a 1-0 lead. Come on, Brandon Marsh. Another single gives us a 2-0 lead. Come on, Drew Gilbert. 2-run score on an RBI double. And now Francisco Lindor walks. Brett Beatty. Fielder's choice. Man on the corners for Suzuki. That's a flyout. But we have a 4-0 victory for Roki Sasaki. A nice, safe little amount of space for him to work with. As he does get a double play there. Okay. We're just going to keep him going. He's only given up 2 hits so far this game. Another double from Lindor. Glad we kept him in. Beatty with the walk. Suzuki, fielder's choice. Men on the corners for Michael Busch, who does not get through that. Still only 2 hits for Sasaki. I'm going to keep him in. Until he starts giving up hits, I'm going to keep him in. 2 runs scored, 7-0. A double for Lindor makes that 8-0. Top of the 8th. He's still only giving up 3 hits. Suzuki, Bush, Vientos, Ramirez gets a single there. And we will enter the game. And we will let Sasaki try to complete the shutout here with only 3 hits in World Series Game 6.
Welcome if you just joined us, John Shaw. Chris Singleton as
It's Sasaki versus Jacob Melton in the top of the ninth. Jacob Melton in the top of the 9th. Fastball on the outside, strike 1.
Well, this team was shut out in the previous game, and I'm really interested to see what do they talk about in that hitters meeting that's going to translate into the game and help them get on that scoreboard.
He drops that. That's a foul. Is he going to get there, Beatty? And with that, your Mets are World Series champions in 2029 after a complete game shutout in Game 6 for Roki Sasaki. The power of friendship has won us the game and the World Series. See, it's all about Lindor, you know? We just need to support Lindor more. All right, that's a World Series trophy. Roki Sasaki gets us there. This team of basically, I mean, we didn't make a lot of changes to the team when you consider like the actual core of it. Now, you can say we made a lot of trades throughout this rebuild. We made a lot of different free agent signings and big moves, but honestly, like we did our best to try to keep this team similar. Yeah, Senga's gone, but we brought in Imanaga to be a teammate of him. Like, we brought in guys that were teammates of other guys. We still kept Diaz. We even brought in his brother. We kept Alvarez, though he wasn't necessarily good, so we kept him on the bench, and we brought in Mori. Pete Alonso stayed, despite not being very good. Vientos stayed the whole time. Acuna was the second baseman. We had Brett Beatty as our main third baseman. Jose was our bench one, but he brought in for, you know, we had Jet Williams up this last season, and Lindor, and the outfield was the only place where we made a little bit of changes, but it's not like they had a lot of outfielders that would have had value. We kept Gilbert. We just brought in guys that were close, and we stuck the team together. Once we had designed what our team was in 2026, we did a pretty good job, I think, of keeping it together and keeping it consistent from season to season, even if it didn't really help us like in 2028. So honestly, I think we did a pretty good job at this. I am fully aware this rebuild is a lot shorter than my last ones, though I hope that being able to keep a core together and trying to support it that way was fun. It's a different challenge. It was a weird setup, and I don't really know how well it's gonna look when I go back and spend the time editing it, but we were successful. We kept the team full of guys who were all teammates or from the same area, who had relationships with each other. The only one that's the odd one out is Alexis Diaz, who was the brother. I will fully say that I brought in Churio with the idea of being able to bring in Jackson Churio in the future, and I kept Acuna with the possibility of bringing in Ronald Acuna. So we just never got to that point. We never needed to get to that point. And we even kept Pete Alonso, which I vehemently did not necessarily want to do the whole time. Our award winners for this World Series: Drew Gilbert wins the World Series MVP. Playoff MVP goes to Brett Beatty. I think that Mets fans would be satisfied hearing that. 2029, Drew Gilbert and Brett Beatty are going to be the 2 MVPs of this World Series team. Anyways, thank you so much for watching our Mets Friendship is Magic rebuild, whatever I'm calling it. I still don't know. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you in some more future rebuilds. And adios.